So here's the bag, the saddle bag that I was using for a while before I got the fuel cell. And the fuel cell right now has some electrical tape on the top of it, so it's not very clean, but when I lost the top, I kind of had to do this to keep using it. If the top cap was attached, the fuel cell would extend to about this high, be a little bigger than what you're seeing right now. But this will give you a rough idea of the size of the two. If you lay the bag on the fuel cell, you can see that it takes up a fraction of the space if you're looking at it from this angle. In terms of how wide they are, you can see that the bag is about 2 to 2.5 times as wide. So there's definitely some difference there, but it holds a lot more. So I want to show you what I have in it, which will probably shed some light on things. First off is a multi-tool. I just picked the smallest one that I could find at the local bike shop. We have a miniature inflation head, 2 tire levers, CO2 cartridges. We have 2 of those. And after the CO2, we have a spare tube and a master link. So I was able to fit all that in that little bag. This will not all fit in the fuel cell. I can get the tube in there, and the tire levers, and the inflator head. And that's pretty much full up at that point. So that gives you a rough idea of what I normally carry. Okay. So here I have the fuel cell with the top cap. And you can see that the top cap just slides in here with friction, and you can pull it off. What you'll notice is that the top cap, you can see that it takes up about this much space in the fuel cell. It comes down to about here. So when it's not attached, this whole section of the fuel cell is basically not a section that you want to load. So what some people do is they'll draw a line to where the top cap will sit, and when they load, they won't fill above that line. So now I want to show you what can and can't fit in the fuel cell. This is my typical spare kit, and we have the fuel cell here. What I like to do is start at the bottom of the triangle here, and maybe start with the inflator head, and you've got to kind of angle it just right. Then we'll have the tube, and if you just put it straight down, the tube is already overflowing a bit. And this is a brand new tube that I haven't even unpacked or tested yet, so it's really compressed. If you were to take it out and fill it with air and make sure it has no leaks, it would take up even more space. So I generally do like to do that, but with the fuel cell you really can't, I found. No matter how much air you try and get out, it will never get as compressed as it is from the factory. So we have that. We have our master link, and maybe our multi-tool, and stuff is already beginning to overflow here. Now we have our CR2s, and we'll ram that in there. And second CO2, we're definitely overflowing at this point. So maybe you only use 1 CO2, and you don't need a multi-tool. So let's see if we can get this to fit. So we've got a tube, a master link, an inflator head, a single CO2, and 2 tire levers. And that's definitely overflowing at this point. Yeah, the rubber cap's not going down. So maybe you don't need tire levers. And let's see if you can get it to close without the tire levers. So it's a tight fit, and it's definitely not going down. You can sort of force it down, but as soon as you let go, it's gonna get a gap, and if you're riding on a wobbly road, this gap is gonna increase with time, and eventually it's just gonna come off, and you will most likely lose the top cap. So I'd say, to be safe, you can probably get a tube, an inflator head, that master link, and maybe the tire levers, depending on how you orient them and how compressed your tube is. But that's probably the outer limit of what you can hold in the fuel cell. This was my ultimate solution for the fuel cell. When I lost the top cap, I just put some electrical tape over the top, and that holds everything in. It actually, I think, holds it a little better than the original top cap because it doesn't come off when the contents of the fuel cell push up on the cap. I only have a tube in there right now, and it's actually pretty full. I think if I scrunched it up a bit, I could get an inflator head and some tire levers in there, and maybe a multi-tool, but that'd be pushing it. It looks ugly in this condition and is not terribly useful. I think I may go back to just my old saddlebag, even though it's not quite a zero, but this worked for me for at least Ironman Boulder.